Okay, here's your question that I'm going to pose to you. We want to get rid of exams. Suppose that 80% of a school's students favor abolishing exams. Okay, this is a question that we want to test. Okay, so 80% of a school's students favor abolishing exams. That means 20% do not favor it. Now, we're going to ask 10 students at random. So this is your simulation. And then what is the probability that all 10 favor abolishing exams? So this is the question that we want to answer. Okay, now, first three things, we need to state the assumption for the chance behavior. Then what we're going to do is we're going to assign the digits to represent in favor and against. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to simulate 25 repetitions using Table B or the calculator, and I'm going to go over both ways. Okay, first thing we got to do is this. Let's go ahead and state the assumption. The assumption is we're going to answer the question, what is the probability that all 10 favor abolishing exams? That's a 10 right there. All right, each of the students' opinions are independent of each other. So first of all, state the independence. Okay? So we're going to state that each opinion of each student is independent of the other. Then we're going to talk about the successes. Okay? Here's your success, and here's your not a success. Okay? The success is the probability that a randomly selected student favors abolishing exam is 0.8. So there's our percentage for favoring. And then, same sentence, the probability that a randomly selected student does not favor, so does not favor abolishing exams, is 0.2. So you have to state what the probabilities are, the success versus not a success. Then, the next step is to basically, we have to assign the digits. Now, because we have an 80%, remember we talked about that today. If it's 80% or divisible by 10, we can use a single digit. So it's divisible by 10. We're going to assign single digits. And we're going to let 0 through 7 equal favoring abolishing exams. All right. And then we're going to do 8 through 9 opposed to abolishing exams. So this is assigning the digits to our successes or to the outcomes. So here's our two possible outcomes. Step 3 is actually going through the simulation. Now notice, I've used line 101, line 102, line 103, and line 104. Now, what you're going to notice is this. Let me get a pen here. All right. All right. Now, we want to simulate, let me go back here. We want to simulate 10 students, okay? Right here, it says that all 10 favor abolishing exams. So what is the probability that all 10 favor abolishing exams? So what we're going to do is we're going to take 10 students at a time, and that's what this does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 students. That's one simulation. Then we're going to do 10 more. That's 2. And then another. That's 3. Notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4 simulations. 5, 6. So I'm counting off every 10 digits. And notice I'm going to get up to, since there's 4 lines of 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, so 16. So basically, I'm going to go through here, and instead of writing everything down, like for here, 1, remember anything between a 0 and 7 is in favor of, anything 8 or 9 is opposed. So it's going to be easier if I do 8 or 9. So notice that's not in favor of. That's not in favor of. That's in. So are all 10 in favor of it? No. So I keep going. There's an 8, so that's not in favor of. There's a 9. There's a 9. So those are not in favor of. Notice I'm only labeling the ones that are not in favor of. Okay. Look at this one. These are all 4s. So that's 4, 4, 4. There's no 8 or 9s here. So all of this one, this is my one single one that where all 10 people are in favor of abolishing the exam. When I go through the simulation, notice that the rest of these, if you go through them all, notice that the rest of these all are not in favor of. So there's an 8 right there. There's an 8 right there. So let me go through. I'm going to highlight these just to kind of show you. All right, there's an 8. Let me use yellow. It's easier. There's a 9. There's a 9 right there. There's an 8. There's a 9, 8, 9, 8. So notice the ones that I've highlighted, these are the ones that oppose abolishing. Notice that this is the only one out of all of those that don't, or that all of them favor abolishing. So basically, the question was, what percentage? Well, if I continue with this, if I do line 105 and then line 106, if I do the 25 simulations, again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 simulations per line, I end up getting, if I continue with this, let me go ahead and get a pen here. If I continue with this outcome, I end up this one out of all of my simulations, 1 out of 25 favor, or where all 10 basically favor abolishing the exam. So the question is, going back to the original question, is what is the probability that all 10 favor abolishing exams? And we just did that, and it's 1 out of 25. Okay? So that percentage happens to be 0.04. So the answer to that is I know it's a little slow, so 0.04. And that's my answer to that question right there. Now, let me get back to the end. It's a little slow here. All right, so we've done our simulation. Now, mind you, this is what it looks like. So not in favor, in favor of. Oh, I went too far. Okay, let me go back one. It's a little slow right now. All right, so if you notice right here, I kind of labeled them in, and this one is the only one that was in favor. I didn't do all 25 simulations. I would have to do a few more. I think 5. I see that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 16 simulations. I would have to do 9 more simulations in order to get 25. Now, that's by using the table B. If I were to use a calculator, this is what it would look like. Let me go ahead and turn this on. All right, so now if you look at this, I went random integer. I did numbers 0 through 9, and I did 10 digits. And you would just write these down. Notice, not in favor of. If I go to the next line, 8 and 9, not in favor of. If you go to this line, not in favor of. So I would write these down where I would have 25 simulations. Oh, that's an exit, so let me delete that right there, and I hit it again. Again, there's an 8, so I would do this 25 times, writing each one down every single time. Okay? Now, if I continue doing this, notice anytime there's an 8 or 9, that means they're not in favor of. And everyone I've done so far has at least one that's not in favor of. So you would do 25 of these simulations and write them down, and then you would summarize at the end. All right, that's what you're going to do.